Welcome back to Real Talk. It's all about making dreams come true in this episode, and here to share her story is the First Lady of Philippine musical theater, Menchu Lauchenko.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here.
So how does it feel to have that title,
The First
Lady, right?
You know, I'm flattered, I'm honored, but it's not to say that, you know, there are a lot of great musical theater actresses out there. Mm-hmm. I think the only reason I was given the title is because I've done so many roles. Mm-hmm. And so I've kind of sort of done every possible ingenue out there into, you know, other roles. And I think that's why I got the title.
And how many years have you been on stage?
I started theater in 1978, so that is how many years?
Oh, or how young were you?
I started when I was 15 years old.
Wow. Okay.
My first audition was 1977 for the musical Repertory's King and I, which I did not get into.
You did not? So what happened?
I auditioned. I did not grow up wanting to be in the theater. I was not exposed to it, not really. So when
but you could sing. You knew you could sing, and you knew none. You had nothing.
Couldn't. That's why it's a funny story, because my brother Raymond was always the singer. He was in the Glee Club.
Yes.
I was the sports person.
Okay.
I was into volleyball. I was in the varsity team. Second year high school, I have a friend who comes up to me and says, Menchu, there's auditions for The King and I. Would you like to try? Now, mind you, I had no idea what theater was, but I knew the movie.
Okay.
So I said, okay, might as well. Yeah. Whatever this
sounds
audition. Sounds like fun, something to do. And so I was 15. I dragged my brother because I couldn't go alone, who was then 12. Mm-hmm. So I get to Insular Life Auditorium where Rep was holding the auditions, and I realized an audition meant having to sing. Now, I have never sung in my life, much less on
stage.
Not
even on the show.
No, not really. I mean, I liked performing, but
not really like sing in front of everybody.
Yeah, like I'll sing along in a movie, you know. So anyway, I was terrified, but I said, I'm here already. So I put in my resume and I put in my brother's, who was really just my chaperone. That's why he blames me for his career. So anyway, to cut the long story short, I did not get in because I was 15. And as you know, the children of King and I, the oldest is Chula Longkorn, who is 12. Yeah. And I was too young to be a wife. So I was out of the equation, although my brother got in and he played Louis Leonoens. And so I was back to my life, playing volleyball and having the time of my life until I saw opening night, CCP. I fell in love and I vowed that I would join the next, which was 1978, Fiddler on the Roof.
Your family would dabble, like Raymond and everybody else?
Only because of me.
Only because of you.
Yeah, because again, we did not grow up going... You have to remember, this was in the early 70s.
And we didn't have a lot of
It wasn't very big then, you know, and traveling to New York, it was a different world, you know, so... I knew of the movie musical, but I didn't know of live theater.
Yes.
So my introduction to it was just showing up at an audition and finally watching The King and I. Although I was taken when I was much younger to watch a production of Walang Sugat.
Okay.
And I did, you know, the typical dance class and I had recitals.
But once you knew that you found this love for theater. Was there ever a role that you actually auditioned and you weren't accepted? You were rejected. Or you got in everything right away?
Okay, I was lucky that when I finally got into Repertory Philippines, it was a very small company. You're talking 1978. So it was a company, a repertory company is made up of a core group of actors. That's why it's called a repertory company. Yeah. And we were roughly 15 core members. So all the ingenue roles came to me, being the youngest.
Yes.
You know, so I was lucky that I came into the theater at a time where mothers and fathers did not send their children to workshops. There were no workshops. In fact, in the early days, theater had a very negative, it was not very positive because you tend to think that your children will become, you know, their grades will start to drop, you know, and stuff like that. So they didn't particularly like children to dabble in theater.
I'm sure it was a mixture of luck and talent and preparation.
Yes. I was lucky that I was given all the opportunities because I had no training. So I was really trained on stage.
Okay.
Screamed at, thrown scores at. I mean, Baby Barredo and Zenaida Amador, who were my mentors, were very, very strict. And
so
we learned by failing.
Yours was like a hands-on.
Yes.
So you developed your style based on what was required for you at that moment?
Right.
You didn't have like a set way
No.
of acting?
No,
or that
no.
you-
I came in completely raw, had no idea what
So
stage
it was
left
all
was.
instinctive.
It was instinctive with a lot of help from the veterans, you know. So, but I really came in knowing nothing.
What were the key times when you thought, I'm going to throw in the towel, I give up, I can't do this anymore?
When I was thrown into roles that I wasn't ready for. But it was never to give up. It was just frustration because you couldn't get to where
Like
you
which
needed to get
roles
to.
were these?
Okay. Again, I go back to the whole idea that I got into theater purely by accident.
Yeah.
So when I got into The Fiddler on the Roof, I played the fourth daughter. As you know, Fiddler on the Roof, there are 5 daughters, but it concentrates on the 3 older ones. So I was like Saling Pusa daughter. And I was very happy in the chorus.
Yeah.
I went on to do Pippin and all these other roles until The Sound of Music came up, 1981, I think it was. And I wanted to go in an audition for Luisa because Luisa doesn't sing a solo. Remember, I've never sung on stage. I was very happy in the chorus. And they gave me Liesel, and she sings 16 going on
yes,
17.
yes.
Of course, I was a nervous wreck. I was on the verge of throwing up every time I had to go out and sing that song. And then that was done, and I went back to my happiness in the chorus and just being in the chorus. And then West Side Story came.
And you were Maria.
And they saw I have to thank them because they saw something in me that I didn't recognize. They saw the potential. So they shoved me into the role. I was the right age for her. I was the right look for her, but I couldn't sing it.
They just had to get you out of the box. They'd be like, come on,
Yes.
get out of your
it was
comfort
always,
zone
you can
and
do this. You can do this.
right?
I said, but Maria has a high C. I had a nice, high, sweet little voice, but nothing close to what the role
Are you
required.
glad that they shoved you
Yes.
into the role?
Yeah.
Very glad, because I don't think I would be where I am today if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And so they sent me to voice lessons, you know, and that was the start. So little by little, like I said, I went on stage doing Maria with 2 months training, and then, you know, it was that sort of thing for me. So everything, I was lucky that I was pushed in the right direction.
So decades later, what would you say are your like top 3 favorite roles?
Diana, Next to Normal.
Yes.
Mrs. Lovett, Sweeney Todd. Fosca and Passion.
And what makes them special to you, or why do they stand out?
Basically because Diana was a very, very difficult role, and it was just wonderful exploring her and all the things that she had to go through as a character. Sweeney Todd, again, for the degree of difficulty in singing the role of Mrs. Lovett. It's a Sondheim score, and Sondheim is known for being dissonant, which means you're not necessarily in tune, or the orchestra may not be playing what you are singing, and you sound
I
out
can
of
do
tune.
that. I have a new calling. I'm definitely auditioning for any of those plays, for sure.
That's a Sondheim. I mean, it's always a challenge to any musical theater actress to do Sondheim. And Fosca, because again of the complexities of her character. Okay. So I like characters that challenge me.
You like more, not to mention that you also won the awards for like Next to Normal.
Yeah, I won the Aliw for Next to Normal, and I won the Gawad Buhay for Mrs. Lovett.
Okay, so those are the challenging roles that you'll never forget because you love the roles and because you loved it so much, and it's all a challenge. It gave you also the awards.
Yes.
What kind of preparation did you do for roles like that? Like Diana's a bipolar mother whose son died, and we were talking earlier in the green room. How do you...
It was very difficult. I had to do a lot of research because I don't know what it feels like to be bipolar. And I can't claim to really know it because I'm not bipolar. I can only read as much as I can about it. I had to go to a very dark place, so rehearsals were quite difficult.
We have to request a short sample from
must.
which
Diana, Next to Normal.
Okay. I hope
Diana,
I remember the
Next to
lyrics.
Normal.
Okay. I miss the mountains, I miss the highs and lows, all the manic magic days and the dark depressing nights. I miss the mountains, I miss the highs and lows, all the climbing, all the falling, and it's like snow. Soaking you with rain, I miss the mountains, I miss the pain. I forgot the lyrics a little bit. It's been a while.
Nice. Would you say you're more of a singer or an actress?
I'm more of an actress.
You're more of an actress.
Yes, and I adjust my voice to the role.
Okay.
So if I need to play...
But you would never veer away from any musicals. Like you said you did Larawan.
Yes. That's the most recent one that we filmed the movie version of Larawan, which was in Tagalog.
See, congratulations.
Which was an accomplishment.
Yes, another challenge. You probably get an award for that because it
was a challenge. I'll never forget when I was asked to do Larawan, GR Rodis came up to me. We were doing Cinderella then. And she goes, Mench, how long will it take you to memorize Tagalog? I go, it depends. She goes, how about Larawan? I go, give me 6 months.
Did it take 6 months?
Yeah, and I was still being corrected many times.
Oh.
But I succeeded. I did it.
Well, congratulations. Thank you so much for being
Thank
with us.
you.
And
Thank
don't
you
go
very
away. I'm
much.
sure you'll be back later on in the show, and we look forward to hearing more from you in a while. But again, we'd like to thank our viewers, and please invite our viewers to send your thoughts on Facebook or tweet us at CNNPH Lifestyle. And please don't forget to use the hashtag CNNPH Real Talk. We will see you after the break.